What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I'm back with my own review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. So we start off with Tisha, Tiffany, and Kimmy. They all go to a rock climbing facility. Looks really fun. Kimmy has a fear of heights, which I really didn't know that she had, but I also found it interesting. If you have a fear of heights, then you couldn't have possibly have gotten on a plane, and you have gotten on a few planes to go to a few trips this season. And when she was getting really emotional of barely getting to the top at the rock climbing place, I was like, wow, maybe there are different ways of her coping with her fear, but I digress. So then they all sit down and have a conversation about the Atlanta trip. What was said, what was heard. Tiffany opens up with the girls, the bottles, the strip clubs, the rage room, hearing Marceau rage about Miss Wanda, also hearing Louis rage about not having enough sex, which surprised Tiffany, Kimmy, and Tisha. Because it's kind of like me and you had that conversation, and I just feel like Lewis has his own truth about not receiving enough sex in his own way. Because as women, we can say we're good, we could say we're getting enough, but men will never say they're getting enough. And Tiffany talked about, okay, yeah, that's true, because maybe there are some things that I'm not receiving, and it doesn't have to be dick. It could be I'm not mentally stimulated. And Tiffany also said that their sex routine is not boring. It's never the same. It's in all these different types of places. It's all forms of, spiciness. So then the marriage retreat that she just talked about having for the cast to go. And to me, she wants to throw out the fact that though they're the only women in the group that are married, which was shade towards Melody and Destiny, but mostly shade towards Melody because Tisha was still on this grandstanding plan about how I'm still married. Girl, you're in a struggle marriage at this point. Anyway, so just talking about the work that she's been doing with Dr. Francis, trying to find herself, and also hearing that Dr. Francis and his wife have had a marriage retreat helping out with other couples since they have been married for over 30 years. So I figured that would be beneficial for all of us to go. Kimmy's not going to turn down a trip, and she also received the rewards of getting help from Dr. Francis because Maurice got help, and she got a honeymoon out of it. So Tiffany talks about how Lewis is a tough shell to crack. So maybe from all the good things I've heard about Dr. Francis, we can get to a place of understanding and closeness. Melody, she's at her house getting some outfits together because she is co-hosting the new amphitheater in Huntsville, a $40 million facility, which is awesome. And people think of Huntsville as a small town, it's not a lot to do. So this amphitheater could be a great place for people to have concerts, events, and a great opportunity for her. Now, this is the weekend she will not have her kids, but it would have been nice for her kids to come and see her, but she's still in a not so good place with Martell co-parenting wise. When it comes to being co-parenting, I want to see actual growth. I want to see maturity. I don't want it to be presented like it's for social media. I want real growth, real maturity. And if you're not going to show that, I'm going to keep my boundaries in place. And not gonna let nobody rush me into being in a space where I'm not ready to be in yet, which is what she should do. Now, Miss Van talks about how Martell needs to come to terms with what he did, get to a space of healing for himself. Because if he doesn't do that and expects for you to automatically open up that door to be co-parenting, he's going to be toxic. And that's the truth. I love the fact that she said that because Martell just wants to hurry up and be in a space of co-parenting, but not realizing that you need to give the woman that you hurt the space and time to heal, the space and time to be like, okay, we can try slow on my terms. So we know the entire time that Martell's been on a hate bitter train of Melody and trying to tarnish her character because his character got tarnished based off of what he did. Speaking of Martell, we see him. He's going over to Lewis's job to check on him. And we haven't seen him since he left Atlanta early. Just want to see how he's doing. And then it talked about him preparing for the builder's license. Even though he's not a good test taker, he has to prepare for the test. Lewis understands that and also told him he's not a good test taker as well. But once you get over that, sky's the limit. So Lewis talks about receiving news of death in his family on his father's side. And he got the news the night before, but he wanted to stay behind to support Martell and left the next morning. And talking about how Tiffany was there for him the entire time, he's super appreciative to have somebody like Tiffany on his side. Martell can tell that Lewis is definitely happy with having somebody like Tiffany. And he missed having that. He missed having Melody because he said he missed his marriage. But he had to correct himself and say, I miss marriage. No, Martell, say it right the first time. You miss Melody. You miss your marriage. You miss the whole family. And Lewis asked him, are you ready to get married right now? Because saying that he missed the family dynamic, the family aspect of marriage, he said, okay, but you got to make sure that the right person is right for you and those kids. because they're going to be spending time with that person. And this is another dilemma. He has 5 children with 2 women, one being his ex-wife and one being a baby mama. So you got to be careful with a woman that you're going to introduce to your family and introduce to the woman that you've had children with. Now, I don't think that Melody will be a problem. I do think that Miss Curry might have an issue. She definitely gives me that type of bitter baby mama energy. And he really wants to be married rather sooner than later. He missed the family dynamics, and the person that he chooses will be the right person for him and his 5 children. I found that to be a slap in the face, but we also knew that Ariane was never going to be a wife. We knew that. We knew she was going to stay in the baby mama world because that's all she wanted to be. And the fact that he wanted to be married to another person and not her, I bet she's over there crying. Because out of all the things that you put yourself with being with this man, he still did not make an honest woman out of you and still move forward in having a serious relationship with you because he didn't want one. Anyway, so they also get into a conversation about when was the last time he spoke to Melody. Now, here go Martell, going on the bitter train, talking about how Melody's a cold-hearted person. I am just trying to get to a co-parenting relationship. I do not want her. And I have 1,000 emails just wanting to be communicative. Just saying all this shit to make it seem as if Melody is coming from a bitter place of not talking to him. As if she doesn't have a reason to keep her boundaries. And Louis talks about that could be the reason why, because she could use the kids to hurt you, which I didn't like that he said that. I don't believe that at any point in time that Melody has used those kids to hurt Martell. I just think that Melody is not giving him the satisfaction of thinking that he has the audacity to come and talk to her. He doesn't understand the boundaries that she puts in place, you know? And he just really wants to co-parent effectively, but you have to be in mind that Melody is also in a space of being healed, being understanding, being at peace. So you have to be patient with that. And when Louis talked about a woman's scorn could be the reason, I felt like, no, not in this case though, Louis. Did that happen to you? I don't think that Melody has ever came at Martell as a woman's scorn. I just think that she's not giving him a satisfaction of thinking that he can talk to her any type of way, get to call her, you know, all his narcissistic ways, thinking that he can still take control of her. She's not allowing that. And that's what's bothering him. So you have to come to terms with what she wants. And you have to be patient with what she wants. So then, of course, he still tries to make it seem as if Melody is this evil-minded person, that all her friends are not her friends anymore based off of how they've noticed how she's been acting and how she's changed. And everybody sees it. Who's everybody? What credible source do you have that Melody isn't the type of friend that they thought she was? Only Destiny? But we know why Destiny did what she did, which is why Melody changed the way she did. So you can miss me with that. You don't have a credible source that talks about what type of person that Melody is. You don't know. And Kiki is also an example because Kiki has known Melody for quite some time, and she's never seen that side that everybody else has been seeing. She's seeing the understanding, she's seeing the growth, she's seeing the change for the better. And Kiki has never changed her stance about how she's want to move forward with her friendship with Mel. Never. Because of what everybody else has been telling her. And I don't like the fact that he wants to make it seem as if she's this horrible person to counteract what he did. And I just feel like that's bullshit. That's the shit you've been doing this entire time. Making it seem as if that Melody is this evil-minded person who just cannot have friends, cannot keep friends. Martell, you can't keep friends. The way you do is you blackmail your friends to stay on your side. And, of course, you got men on your side who you have secrets on that they cannot turn against you. So you can miss me with that. Kimmy. Kimmy has her bags packed. She's talking about the marriage retreat that Tisha invited her on. Maurice was not here for it. He felt like I got what I needed when I first went to counseling with Dr. Francis. He fixed me. He can't fix you, Maurice. You can't be fixed by one counseling session. And he figures since I got the counseling session that was needed, you got a honeymoon. That means you should be satisfied with that, right? And don't ask anything else of me. No, she talks about everybody might need a recharge every now and again. But he felt like I don't want to talk about other people's problems. As if you don't do that already, Maurice. You've been engulfed in everybody else's situation but yours. And he feels like all we're going to do is talk about other people's problems all day. That's going to be annoying. That's going to be negative. I feel like you're being negative over a simple trip. And she just feels like maybe there's some things in our marriage that we could, tune up. Like, is there anything in the marriage that you think that I need to improve on? And he said, okay, yes, having sex every day. She said, for what? That's what I want. I want sex every day. She said, can it be a middle ground? Because even your brother thought that was excessive. He said, my brother's not in my marriage. Okay, well, can you have an understanding that having sex every day is a little much? And she had that same conversation with Tiffany because that was Lewis's issue. And it's kind of like a conundrum. You men are never satisfied. Having sex every day can never be enough for you. We can have sex at 6 o'clock, and then here comes 10 o'clock. You're pulling down my pants, and I'm mad at you for telling you I don't want to have sex, and you're mad at me. As if we did not just have sex not too long ago. So having sex every day wouldn't be enough for you. And he made a statement about, what if I woke up this morning and decided not to eat? That does not make any sense. You cannot counteract with, if I wake up and not want to eat, to me waking up to not having sex every day. That doesn't connect. That doesn't match. Doesn't make sense. And then he made a comment about how the type of sex they've been having hasn't been enjoyable. It's been quickies. It's been robotic. And you just want to hurry up and get to the action, which I found fucked up to say. You really talking about your sex life on camera like this? Very much in detail. So he want her to make a commitment. If he goes on the trip, she has to have sex with him every day while on that trip. She committed to it, but then he wanted to up the ante and added having sex twice every day while on that trip. She said, no, I'm not doing that. And then he gets mad. And it's like, how can you get mad about me agreeing to have sex with you every day on the trip, but get mad that I'm not agreeing to having sex twice a day on the trip? Dude, why are you trying to make it an issue with not having enough sex? Like, are you copying off of Louis' issues, Maurice? That lets me know you really did not have anything else going on. You and Kimmy just made up a plan to not have y'all issues come out to the forefront, and you want to grab anything else that you can think of to counteract and overshadow what the issue is. You know? And it's stupid. This was a ridiculous scene, and the look on Kimmy's face was, I cannot believe you are really having this type of conversation on camera about this. You're not about to make me like no fool now, but Kimmy's gonna stick beside it and roll with it. But I just found it to be fucking stupid. You mean to tell me we're having a conversation about not having enough sex? She agrees to having sex, but not enough to the point where you're happy. Oh my God, you can miss me with that, okay? So then we see Tiffany. Tiffany and Louis are packing up. And she has to tell him, while I have cleared my schedule to go on this trip, I do have to leave the trip early. I have a women's conference. I'm speaking out. Now, of course, he's feeling like, okay, you say that, but it might be more, events that you just have to go through, and that everything's going to pretty much be just done. Because it's a routine for him to feel like she's never going to carve out enough time in her schedule to be with him. But she is. I carved out enough time to give me a few days off, but I cannot take away this event. I have to do this event. But why can't your business partner do it? He's out of town. So hopefully Dr. Francis can help them work out with their dilemmas. And that's why she's packing. I thought she was packing sex toys. That's what she said. That's what I thought. And having some quality time. Then the whole thing about having sex and how, things needs to take in the bedroom more. So she wants to understand, okay, well, you want to be understanding of why you're not having enough sex. I want you to be understanding as to why I'm not feeling sexually satisfied. And you can give me dick, but I would like more. I would like more intimacy, more hand-holding, more caressing. So hopefully we can get to a point where we're getting two ways out of this. We're both getting understanding. We're both going through our issues. And we're both coming together, being more closer. And we're going to have a good time. And we're going to be understanding. That's it. And I just feel like when it comes to Tiffany and Louis, I don't feel like their situation is fake. I think the way that it's being presented on camera is making it seem as if they're boring. And maybe Tiffany and Louis don't have the type of drama that people think they do, or people think that they're trying to cover up and be fake about it. I just think they're just normal couples who just have different ways of going about things. That's not, drama worthy. But I like them, and I think that the next part of the show we're going to get more of an insight. I really do. But we're going to keep going. So Tisha's packing up. She still hasn't told Marceau why she's packing. And the trip, she said it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission, which was the opposite, because Dr. Francis told you to be more confrontational, and you're avoiding that because you know what your husband's going to say. So you're going to trick your husband and give him little things to not tell him the whole story. And talking about having a couple trip, who's all going? Kimmy, Maurice, Louis, and Tiffany. Now, the trip is in Nashville. He loves Nashville, but he went on about what he can do. Go to a cigar lounge, go to the mall, maybe look at some business locations. She said no, there'll be no business. It's going to be about love and marriage, and that's what you're going to do. We're going to be reconnecting. And he thought about the trip being some type of swingers wife swap situation, which I don't know why he thought about it. And hearing who's coming, he said, "Oh, thank God." I'm just like, Marcel, you can miss me. If Melly and Martell were going, you will be all in with going. And you'll be all in on having that type of mindset, because anybody notices how Marcel has a different tune when Tisha's not around and when Melly's in the room. He wants her attention. He wants to have conversations. But when Tisha's around, he be all hush mode. Y'all ever noticed that? And then he talked about, do you have any issues with Tiffany? She said, no, we're good. You know what? I'm good with Louis, too. We actually have a great time with Atlanta. He was nice. He was open. Maybe they're actually cool under all that judgment. So that's good. So going on the marriage retreat, right? But then, since there isn't any issues between Tiffany and Louis, Marceau decided to bring up Martell to be invited so it could spice up the trip. Tisha said, no, he's not married. Why would he come? I mean, I feel like he should. I mean, come on, I need some drama. I feel like what type of couple trip don't have any drama? So let's invite Martell. I felt that was so funny. He wanted fighting happening on this couples retreat. He doesn't want nothing to be about understanding your marriage more, be more communicative. He wants drama, which brought me back to last season when everybody got upset that every time they had something going on, it went to haywire because Melody and Martell will argue. And everybody had an issue with that. But hearing that Marcel wanted drama to happen on a trip that his wife is doing, that lets me know y'all was definitely into the drama that happened last season, because it did not talk about you. And since this season has been kind of on your ass, you want to now change the tune, change the narrative to be like, okay, we need more drama because our shit's coming out more and we need to keep that under wraps. Okay, I see. And then she's helping with the nanny, getting the nanny ready for the kids. He wants to help. You didn't help the first time. Why you want to help this time? So Melody was getting ready for her amphitheater performance. She was co-hosting with a gospel artist in the area. And we see Martell and the kids support her. And he really wants to take this first step of co-parenting with her. And this could be the opportunity for it. So Melody took some time out to take a break. She has other performances to do. And then we see a surprise of the kids and Martell coming in. Now, she's always happy to see her children, of course. But she does not want any negative energy coming from Martell. And I want my energy to be on high, positive high. Now, I noticed where's Sugar Mama? Like, where is Sugar Mama? It was too hot that day. And, of course, babies cannot be out in the hot sun for a long period of time. So she's with his mom. And he really wanted to support Melody on her big day. And it was extremely awkward, but what I loved about this scene was seeing Melody in all of her glory, all of her gorgeousness, in her element, and seeing Martell looking lost, like a lost puppy, because he definitely ruined the best thing he ever had. He lost the best thing he's ever had, and he's like, fuck, all that for some this? I ruined this for some head. Wow. I know he's kicking himself in his brain. I know he is. But it was awkward, and then, of course, I can't remember the conversation because it ended right then and there. Then they showed a montage of Melly and Martell, their love, right? Then they showed the trailer for the mid-season, for the rest of the season, because this was the mid-season finale. And let's get into this trailer real quick, based on what I can remember. So it starts off with the marriage retreat, right? So Louis and Tiffany will get a front row seat to how Dr. Francis could read their relationship. And Louis had the same statement that Marceau had about how can you dissect my marriage after only knowing me for 5 minutes. But that came from Dr. Francis. And this is going to give Marceau a leg up in thinking that he has the upper hand to come back at Louis and Tiffany for telling him how does it feel to be diagnosed as fake. But I want Marceau to understand that you won't take advice from anybody. Because while you got mad that Louis read you like a fucking book about how you are not communicating with your wife, you got mad. And you got mad about how I can't receive advice from somebody who's been divorced and married. As if your brother hasn't been divorced and married again. And you don't receive advice from anybody. You said you're not going to receive advice from somebody who doesn't know what you're going through. We have Dr. Francis, who has been married for over 30 years, is an actual marriage counselor, but you won't receive advice from him. So in that scene, I'm going to be like, Marceau, you're not dumb, but you also not right. Keep in mind. And you got Kimmy trying to co-sign on that as well. But also Kimmy's in the hot seat too, because Kimmy also posted a picture Miss Van, something that had to do with Miss Van, and she reposted it. So she's gonna have to clean that up and give understand as to why she did that. And we see Tisha. Tisha had the team wife shirt at the Valentine's Day event. Miss Van took a picture of that shirt, reposted it, and put it on Melly's website so she could receive more money of the shirts, because we know that was Melly's idea anyway for the team wife shirts. So now Tisha's gonna get mad about that. And was it shady? Yeah, but it was also marketing. What you mad about it for? And we're also gonna see the after effects of the co-parenting relationship between Martell and Melody. And also Melody telling Martell that Miss Wanda has been back online talking about their children. And this time she questioned the paternity of Sugar Mama. So then we see the grand opening of Destiny Shot Madani. And Melly walked in, didn't say hi to Destiny the way that the scene was shot, only said hi to Kimmy and walked out, not giving Destiny a moment, right? But Destiny walked outside and said, first of all, you don't come to somebody else's store uninvited. I should have escorted you like you escorted Tisha out. I felt like Destiny. It's not the same situation. This was a beauty supply store. This was not an event space. So Tisha walked in on an event space that she was not invited to. Melly walking into your beauty supply store is not really the same thing. And we don't know how that situation came about. We don't know exactly how it happened. But I wasn't mad the way that Melly did, because Destiny is constantly seeking attention from Melody. And she's mad that she's not getting it. So then we see Miss Wanda outside doing her food stuff. And then Melody approaches Miss Wanda to pretty much say, okay, I heard you have a lot to say on social media and online. I'm right here in your face. What's up? Then they go back and forth. You know, Miss Wanda is being condescending, calling her sweetie. Melody said, don't call me sweetie. And Miss Wanda walks up on Melody and talks about, go find your baby daddy. If Melody says she's right here, they separate them to not get any closer. We see Martell trying to keep them separated. He's being on guard. He's being on point, you know what I'm saying? And then we see Maurice coming in, trying to get at Martell. Martell's trying to push him off. They get into it. Marceau gets into it. We see Stormy's husband trying to separate them. And of course, this is the fight that everybody has been seeing clips of. And we heard Miss Wanda's lie that she did not shut off about what happened that day. So we're going to see the build up to this fight. And am I missing something else? I feel like I'm not, but I feel like I am. But I'm just going off of what the top of my head was, because that shit was crazy. I am super excited about that, because I want to see the build up to this. And I've already seen the comments of people saying that Melly was wrong for approaching Miss Wanda. I wasn't. Because Ms. Wanda has been doing nothing but going online, talking a whole lot of shit about Melody and her family and everything else in between. And you guys cannot be mad that now Miss Van and Melody are now coming back into the fight. They're coming back just like how they came back at them. Because let's not forget that Marceau, Tisha, Kimmy, and Maurice have been trolling with their vacation pics. And Melody is not paying them no mind. Miss Van not paying them no mind. But they're constantly trolling to get attention. So let's not forget. But anything else that I think about? Nothing much. I mean, I can't, because it was just crazy. I was like, ooh. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm super here for it. Yeah, y'all, I'm just super excited. I just got lost. But y'all, that's it. That's all I have. But please stay tuned for the next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.